Conversation. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Arlington Heights Memorial Library Board of Trustees meeting for Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Could I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burwell, trustee Gala,
Here.
trustee Kelly,
Here.
trustee McLean,
Here.
trustee Meadow,
Here.
trustee Watts,
Here.
president Simone.
Here. Wonderful. Everyone on the board is here tonight. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a packed agenda tonight and a couple different teams presenting, so that's always good. Mike, do we have any reports from the Friends of the Library?
Oh, friends, do you want to do public?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any public comment? No public comment. Okay.
So Friends did not have a report, and Foundation said really nothing new this month, but wanted to wish the board happy holidays.
All right. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting from November 18th.
Motion to approve, seconded.
All in favor or any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Right. And next on our agenda is approving the minutes from our committee of the whole. That was December 1st, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Is there any comment? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that is approved. Thank you. Let us review the financial report for the period ending November 30th.
Okay. So there's no real estate tax revenue recognized in the month of November. The second installment property tax bills for Cook County were mailed on November 14th and due December 15th. So as payments come in, they will flow from the taxpayers through the county, the village, and ultimately to the library. We've not seen the revenue come through from the Cook County treasurer, but the village passes it along quickly once it does. They try to book the cash receipts during the week of the receipt on the bank end. Our reserves are diminishing quickly while we wait, but maintaining reserves at the highest possible end of the policy range was very helpful, as it allowed us to have enough to cover operating expenses during this delay without having to seek bridge funding. Copier printer revenue for this month was $3,255.28. Our meeting room fees were $375. Lost item charges totaled $658.88. I'm sorry, $654.88. November interest income was $7,126.03. Revenue collected for vehicle stickers totaled $344. Maker Place rental revenue was $50. Maker Place miscellaneous revenue was $870.51, and other income was $530.46. Our total revenue collected in November was $13,266.16. On this expense side, 92% of the fiscal year has lapsed, and we've expensed 88% of our total operating budget. The favorable variance is $537,224. Our personnel costs are 90% of the full year's budget, and we are 91.67% of the way through the year. Some departments appear over budget on the expenditure report, but may still end up at the end of the year favorable, since the report is comparing actuals to year-to-date budget. Overages could be due to things like turnover since budget time, but will be fully offset in favorability by other departments from open positions throughout the year. 76% of the total annual capital budget has been expensed as of November. Our interior renovations are scheduled to wrap up a couple days ahead of schedule and will be under budget. And then our Wi-Fi project will likely be moved to 2026. We were waiting on confirmation through E-Rate project to get that project purchased. But being it's going to be far less money than budgeted. We, are just because of the timing of the E-rate and everything, we're gonna move it to next year. That'll be probably around $6,000 as opposed to the $18,000 that we had budgeted for it. So we can, expend that out of contingency money next year. That is everything for the financial report. Does anybody have any other questions? Anything that they can address?
No, well, we appreciate your attention to the budget and, you know, it looks like our expenses are gonna be under budget, so that's great. I mean, just that Wi-Fi is like a third of what we budgeted, so that's terrific, and we'll see how the taxes come in. That's kind of the big question.
Yes. Right.
All
So,
right,
yeah, so we're expecting we'll be under budget for the year overall. We'll probably be at or a little bit above revenue for the budget.
Right.
Like we did, like we were last year.
okay.
Question,
Yeah.
right, and or Tracy or Larry, I'm not sure who. Just, I hope this never happens, but if we were to get into a situation where the property taxes didn't come in on time, like what would happen?
We would take a bridge loan. Do you want to
Okay.
speak to that a little bit, Tracy?
Yeah, I don't have like in-depth knowledge, but there are funding sources available to public entities for things that happen like that. Yeah,
Okay.
so, we were already asking around with some of your libraries about, are you doing this? What are you doing? Potentially could have loans between us and the Village of Arlington Heights, depending on what their reserves are. There's a few different options available for public entities.
All right. How about the check register?
Okay, so we have a few check questions here for this month, or checks to highlight. On page 2 and 3, check 105259 to Innovative Interfaces, in the amount of $187,311.21. That is a prepaid, that's for 2026 for our main database costs. That is the database that manages our all of our book records and our customer records. This is the annual payment that covers maintenance, cloud hosting, resource sharing, and mobile worklists. On page 5, check 105314 to Uline in the amount of $687.50. That's steps for the Hendricks Swing Room stage that replaces the older bare wood steps that we've had for a really long time with a newer looking, nicer looking portable step. Also on page 5, check 105315 to Vernon Library Supplies in the amount of $5,435.44. That is replacement of the drop box at Camelot Park, which was badly rusted at the bottom from, you know, salt and stuff like that in the snow. This was in the budget for 2025, something we've been looking at for a while. So that was purchased and is here. On page 12, check 105274 to M&J Technologies for $7,090.16. That's for Windows Server 2025 server and client licenses. It also is our Office 365 renewals. Also, that same check number to M&J Technologies, which is a credit of $2,311. That is the return of a projector that we had bought for the boardroom. With the reconfiguration of the boardroom, we were moving the projector from one side to the other side, and we got a very short throw projector. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. The distance that we had to the screen was not enough. So we ended up sending that back and we bought a large television to replace the screen for about that same price. So that was the credit for that, the return of that projector. Then on page 18, check 105221 to Virgin Group LLC in the amount of $1,960. That is the replacement of 2 interactive panels in Kids World due to being broken and worn down. It was Hickory Dickory and Rainbow Spinner, if you're interested. So those are located in Kids World, hanging on the wall. Then on page 53, check 105284 to OCLC in the amount of $24,935.09. That is payment for ebooks and e-audio, including, for example, the Cloud Library pay-per-use audio for 1,527 pay-per-use titles. That's I believe that's a monthly charge. Then on page 56, check 105225 and 105226 to Grace Carnival in the amounts of $145.22 and $115.06. That is the reissue of 2 culinary class payments. These payments were originally issued in March, but due to a vendor name and address change, they were never received in cash. cashed. Stop payments are placed before reissuing, and we wait approximately 3 months before performing this process while we work with the payee to hopefully find the original payment during that time, but that is expired and we've been reissuing those. Are there any other questions on checks?
No,
And I need approval of the accounts payable check register for the Arlington Heights Memorial Library for November 30th, 2025. In the amount of $1,498,921.72. So moved.
all right, the motion was made by trustee Gala and seconded by trustee Kelly. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell?
Yes.
Trustee Gallen?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly?
Yes.
Trustee McLean?
Yes.
Trustee Meadow?
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Smith?
Yes. And I just wanted to mention, and we'll talk about this at others, but it's really interesting, the ebook prices, because that was sort of the main takeaway for some of us that were able to go to the breakfast with legislative leaders in the area, is how much we pay as a library for ebooks. They're so much more expensive than regular books, and libraries pay more than a consumer would too. So I know it's something libraries in general are working on, but I really notice it now on the budget. So, yeah. All right. Moving on to your report.
Okay, so a few things I highlight in the director's report. First, on the first page, the creative spirit of the Arlington Heights community was on full display on Thursday, November 13th, as the Art with Elaine's Artist Celebration Reception brought together 31 artists, their families, friends, and community members for a warm and celebratory evening honoring the creative work inspired through the library's popular creative aging program series and artist Elaine McNulty, who for many years has designed the monthly projects and facilitated meetups. Attendees shared enthusiastic compliments about the presentation, photo slideshow, and art display, noting that the arrangement made every artist feel seen and captured the spirit of the class perfect. On that page, last month, season 5 of Illinois Libraries Present continued with Henji Lopez Alt, A Journey Through Food and Science. The beloved award-winning cookbook author, New York Times food columnist, and Serious Eats director was joined in conversation by Chicago's Tripping Billy Zierkat and introduced by the library's own Maker Place branch assistant manager and home cook, Chris Kruger. The evening of foodie talk started out with a discussion of tavern-style pizza and ended up with tips on spatchcock turkey. Tips to spatchcock turkey. The event attracted 890 attendees, 74 Arlington Heights customers attending. This was the highest participation of ILP's season 5 libraries. Then on that same page, our community engagement supervisor, Catalina, and our English as a second language and literacy coordinator, Tracy, each facilitated a session of English for Spanish speakers at Mission San Juan Diego in Arlington Heights northwest side. Bringing programming directly to customers in their own community created a welcoming, impactful experience for both staff and attendees. And on the next page, last month, the 20s and 30s series returned to Empty Corner for a paint and sip event instructed by Maker Place advisor Esther. 20 emerging adults learned art techniques like proportion and how to create depth, many then putting their own spin on the pieces. Readers advisor Danielle and the programs and exhibits coordinator Nikki were on hand to refresh paint, control the playlist, and give encouragement as necessary. Then on the same page, a couple of highlights from staff. Early literacy librarian Allison presented at the Lacona Youth Services section's Everything Babies and Toddlers event, focusing on how the library provides programs and services to caregivers. Our programs and exhibits coordinator Nikki presented on the Lacona programs outreach and promotion sections, civic literacy and collaboration panel, sharing information on the library's success partnering with the local League of Women Voters to present candidate forums. And then our ESL and literacy advisor, Amy, and ESL and literacy coordinator, Tracy, co-presented Engaging with English Language Learners, Strategy for Effective Communication with Positive Outcomes at Back in Circulation, which is a virtual conference offered through the University of Wisconsin-Madison's Information School. Then on the next page, I have to mention that Dinovember. Our visitors to Kids World last month celebrated Dinovember From the floor projection system to the imagination station, youth of all ages interacted with dinos. At Dinomania, 86 of the library's youngest customers and their caregivers visited dino-themed activities. At Dinosaur Discoveries with T-Rex Explorers, 157 youth, school-aged youth and their families learned about science, nature, and fossils from a paleontologist. And then our electronic resources librarian, Bill, collaborated with Senior Accessible Services Manager, Katie, to launch Get Set Up, which is an online platform designed for adults 55 and up. It covers topics like smartphone use, online safety, health, money management, hobbies, retirement planning, and travel. This resource helps active agers stay connected and informed, and customers can access Get Set Up via the library's website at ahml.info/databases. Then moving ahead to page 6. Our programs and exhibits hosted its second annual guided tour of the Fixer Cultural Center, attracting an engaged group of 15 participants. Executive Director Gina Roxas delivered an exceptional experience sharing the center's history, highlighting contemporary Native artists, and leading a powerful conversation about Indigenous cultures locally in Natchez. See, on the last page, or I'm sorry, page 2. Wanted to let you know that there was a water main break near the Maker Place, which forced the Maker Place to close temporarily on November 12th. Staff worked quickly to adapt. Our Makerspace specialist, Kate, and Makerspace advisor, Allie, were able to relocate 2 sessions of the popular needle felting program to the main library. This effort involved help from the maintenance technician, Chuck, our IT help desk supervisor, Eric, IT help desk technician, Mike, and digital services manager, Diane. So thanks to the teamwork, 30 customers still enjoyed creating the adorable calico cats. And then also over at the Makers, we have upgraded our Cricut machines. So we have faster, more reliable Cricut Maker 4 models. They're now available for customers to use at the Maker Place. Thank you to a generous donation from the Arlington Heights Memorial Library Foundation. And the previous machines will remain as classroom tools for learning and creativity. There was a question about the staff adapting during the water main break and if there were any lessons learned. So in this case, we had a few hours notice to pivot the programs from the Maker Place to the new building. We were also able to contact all the participants in time to alert them of the venue change. So this enabled near perfect attendance for a very popular program. We do have a protocol for most of our unexpected closings, but having ample notice enables us to have a more seamless contingency plan. Unfortunately, the weather and other emergencies don't always give us that sort of notice. That's everything I had from the director's report. I do have some questions about the dashboard. But before I go into that, did anybody have any questions or want to highlight anything else from the report?
Well, so we had a water main break at the Maker Place. There was also, water was shut off here because I live close. So kudos to you and your staff for getting all that information out to people. I didn't hear any complaints because I mean, we got a letter in our mailbox. You were, told ahead of time, but it's disappointing that that has to happen, but hopefully now all this construction is done and it'll be good. I stopped by, this art exhibit was really fabulous. I'm always impressed by artists. And I love that, we fill up the first floor during the spring with kids' art from all the schools. And this was kind of a grown-up counterpoint to that. So I thought that was really fun. Again, going to Harper, going to Mission San Juan Diego, going to so many different places outside the walls, including, kind of a cool newer place in Arlington Heights, the Empty Corner for that demographic. I think it's terrific to have so many opportunities to be out in the community. So thank you for that.
Any other questions? Okay, then a couple questions about the dashboard. So regarding the purchase of the library card. One of the trustees noted that twice as many people purchased them this year. Do they automatically get renewed? Or does a customer have to come in and renew the card? Customers do need to come in to renew those purchased cards. Year to date, we've collected $473.50 for non-resident purchase cards, which is 2 6-month cards. The others are cards that are issued as part of the Illinois Cards for Kids Center. So those are provided at no charge to people under 18. And then there was a question about the significant increase in teen attendance. Do you have any insight on that? So Alejandra touched on this a little bit in her presentation last month. Teen staff have been focused on refining the program offering and trying to realign resources with what reaches more teens, like more social programs, and sunsetting less popular offerings. We also been programming more in the hub, which gets those that are using the space but may not know about the program to participate. And then additionally, we've also seen significant increases in outreach, better reach at Tinker Days at high schools, more regular visits, and establishing Prospect as a site. And then attendance at supplementary programs is up 34.3%. Can we explain what drives that participation? We've estimated engagement attendance for the Ofrenda and Art with Elaine show being reported in November 2025, or November 2024. We only had the Ofrenda. So that art installation certainly had an impact on that. And then Maker Place new users are down a bit overall, but overall visits seem steady. So does this mean after 4 years, we're seeing high number of repeat users? Sorry, new users are down, but overall visits are steady. So yes, we are seeing many repeat users and many regulars, fewer people coming in for the tours or signing the agreement. So yeah, it's a lot more users that are just getting to know Maker Place and come back and using it more.
Do we market that or cross promote it with the senior center?
We do, yeah. Actually, we've been working with a group that works in the wood shop over there.
Okay,
And
yeah.
we've been doing some stuff over here. Laser etching is some of the products that they're making.
So nice to see the different complements of services and opportunities. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like this is gonna be something we'll be keeping an eye on, have been and will continue to, just that downloadable materials seem to always be creeping up.
Mhm.
And yet we know they're more expensive. So how do you kind of manage that? And maybe some audio visual are a little down because streaming's more up. So
So we have been making adjustments to the budget over the last couple of years. We're also looking at legislation through my participation with the Public Policy Committee, and we learned about
Yeah.
the legislative meetup. And if there's any sort of legislation that can be put forward to help control some of these costs, because it's just ridiculous. And we know it's going this way, more and more people are using the ebooks, and so yeah, trying to plan for that is tough, but we are adjusting internally as much.
very good. Anyone else have any questions? All right, let us move on to old business. The first thing on our agenda of old business is approval of the fiscal year 2026 Illinois Public Library per capita and equalization aid grant application.
Okay, so we have talked about this a couple of times now. And what you have in front of you tonight is the application for the per capita grant. And it's pretty simple. It, just kind of verifies that we're meeting those core standards for each of these different sections. If there was anything that was noteworthy in each of those, we did make a note. I think there were only a couple of them that we noted. Either things that we're working on or things that we thought would be important to include. So if you guys have any questions about it, I'd be happy to address those.
No, but again, I noticed that we indicated that that money will be used for electronic materials.
Correct, yep, to answer
So,
your previous
yep.
question.
Oh, makes sense. All right, I would take a motion.
Move the Board of Library Trustees approves the fiscal year 2026 Illinois Public Library per capita and equalization aid grant application.
Seconded.
All right, that was, the motion was made by trustee Gala and seconded by trustee Watts. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
trustee Gala,
Yes.
trustee Kelly,
Aye.
trustee McLean,
Yes.
trustee Meadow,
Yes.
trustee Watts.
Yes.
President Scott.
Aye.
Did you notice on this per capita grant, the discrepancy from the instructions to the application, because it says you put the level at which your library meets each standard, core, intermediate, advanced. and they only give the core.
Yeah, right.
That's the state, I mean, they should have 3 boxes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Baby steps, I guess. This time,
If I ever talk to them, I'll let
Yeah.
them say,
they moved it online. They're the,
oh, Lord. The per capita grant was the last grant, I think, in the world, maybe not the world, where everyone else was on computers and online, and, no, not even online, just on a computer to be able to fill it out, and we were still typing. We kept our typewriter longer.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the adoption of the proposed revisions to policy 4.002. The policy is regarding government officers' investigatory requests pertaining to library patrons or users.
Okay, so this was a policy that was discussed at the December 1st committee of the whole meeting. Very minor changes in this, just some terminology changes, and then we removed one line that was an older process that we no longer have in place anymore. So this is really just bringing it to you guys for further discussion and board approval. Guys have any questions about it?
No, and I just want to remind anyone watching or listening that we as a board have discussed all these policies previously. So if it seems like we're going over them quickly, it's because we've seen and discussed them before. So we are taking attention and paying attention to the changes. So we did discuss this at our last committee of the whole meeting. And with that, I would take a motion.
Make a motion that the Board of Library Trustees adopts the proposed revisions to policy 4.002, government officers investigatory requests pertaining to library customers.
All right, the motion was made by trustee Watts and seconded by trustee McLeany. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell,
Yes.
trustee Gala. Yes. Trustee Kelly. Aye. Trustee McLeany,
Yes.
trustee Nettle,
Yes.
trustee Watts.
Yes.
President Smarty.
Aye. All right, another policy. This point, we are looking at rescinding a policy. It was policy 1.102. It was duties and responsibilities. It was a policy adapted in 1993 for trustees.
Yeah, so this was another policy that was discussed at the December 1st committee of the whole meeting. So this policy is, as Amy mentioned, was adopted in 1993 as one of the policies pertaining to the board's responsibilities. Much of this document is included in other policies in the organization or in our other board policies. What we're looking at here, this policy, which actually came from publication from 1962, produced by ALA. The American Library Association does have a similar guidance, updated guidance, in 2 other publications that they currently have published: the Complete Library Trustee Handbook and on the United for Libraries Organizational Tools for Trustees webpage. So both of those resources are provided by the ALA. Bringing this to be rescinded because it really looking at other library policies that other libraries have and looking at kind of the policies that we have. I don't really think this is necessary to keep as a policy. We do review this with new trustees as they come in as part of the onboarding process. And I feel like it's more of a procedural thing than it is a policy thing, but up for debate. So I know we talked about it a little bit at the committee of the whole meeting, but if you guys have any further discussion, I'm happy to answer any questions.
No, all right, and I know that the Illinois Library Association is really working hard to present portals for trustees to do sort of continuing education and make sure that trustees from all over the state are up to date on requirements and best practices and that sort of thing. So with that, I will take a motion.
I'll move that the Board of Library Trustees rescinds policy 1.102, duties and responsibilities.
I'll second.
All right, that motion was made by trustee Burrell and seconded by trustee Kelly. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell.
Yeah.
Trustee Gala.
Yes.
Trustee Kelly.
Aye.
Trustee McLeany.
Yes.
Trustee Nettle.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
President Smarty.
Aye. All right. Moving on to new business and one of our favorite presentations of the year. We don't have favorites, but it is the December meeting, and that means we get the one village wrap up.
You totally play favorites.
We'll take it twice. Kickoff and the wrap up. Hello, trustees. President. I am Sherry, my name is Sherry Tater. I am the Info Services Advisory Coordinator here at the library, and I'm joined tonight by.
Neil Parker, Programs and Exhibits Specialist.
I'd also like to recognize the rest of the OBOB 2025 planning team. This year was, besides Neil and myself, Catalina Shin, Danielle Lampert, April Carter, Natalie Brador, and Moshe Linsta, who are both joined tonight. So thank you for coming. This year, One Book, One Village, we are now in our 12th year. Can't believe that. We proved successful to bring together the community, showing once again how a public library is the place for community gathering, for discussions, learning, and shared experiences. This successful initiative was marked by a smooth book selection process and a clear vision for the programming, outreach, and marketing that would accompany it. The themes of the Stolen Queen, this year's One Book, One Village, I know that you all know, the Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis. Its themes included Egypt, New York, female friendships, and mentorship, history and fashion, inspired a wide variety of engaging programs, including virtual talks with experts in the field and the library-wide gala, which many of you attended. Thank you very much. The circulation of the book remained high as in previous years, and online engagement included a variety of community partnerships and influencers. The culmination of all these efforts was on full display at the premier author event that was almost full house at Forest View this year, eager to meet and hear from author Fiona Davis.
Right. Just to go on. Just to echo what Sherry was saying, this one book was hugely successful across the board for all of us. In terms of circulation, we saw an almost 9% increase from 2024, rounding out at about 1,900 checkouts, and that includes physical and then e-material. President Samari is always big here as well. And of course, because of Fiona's other books, those also saw increased circulation as well. Like Sherry said, this year was very smooth, so we didn't run into any trouble with formats. We were able to get all of the in-demand formats that we typically like to, like audiobook CDs, large type, which is increasingly harder to come by.
Right, so community engagement. As you can see here, we were able to get out into the community and broaden the scope for where One Book, One Village reaches. This year's outreach numbers doubled our expectations. The OBOB returned to Autumn Harvest and Harmony Fest, and we expanded our outreach by adding a brand new event with Harvard College. We connected with community members communicating in sign language, Japanese, and Spanish, and we introduced a whole new audience of Harvard College students to OBOB. Community partners included District 214 Adult Education, as I mentioned, Harvard College, the Arlington Heights Park District, the Village of Arlington Heights Farmers Market, the Friends of the Library, and the library and the Arlington Heights Memorial Library Foundation. We wanted to give a shout out to both the Friends and the Foundation, as they both were huge participants this year, both at the author event as well as with the gala. And their raffle provided the picture you see here, which was the winning book club that got to meet with Fiona, and that was a wonderful, wonderful event. And it was kind of just a small book discussion / author event. It was wonderful. And wouldn't have been possible without the foundation. There was a total of 1,239 customer interactions at 6 different outreach events. Our marketing strategy remained consistent with previous years and delivered strong results. Total social media engagements increased from 2024, with Instagram engagements more than doubling, which is huge. Local influencer and partner content saw significant growth with 22 unique partnership posts. And local media coverage also slightly increased, which we had 3 articles compared to 2 in 2024. Email marketing improved substantially with 11 emails open, and the average of 79% open rate, which is up from 50% from 2024, which is well above the nonprofit industry average. So that's huge too. So as you can see, many events, you could also see we had our giveaways, which were the keychains, which you guys got at kickoff. And then post with the one gala. I do want to give a shout out to the picture on the bottom left, which you see is a group of residents that there was an article recently in our newsletter about them. They're, if you did get a chance to read it, they are a group that met over a year ago for our assignment, speed friending. And they never knew each other. They met and now they attend. I'm not joking. Every book discussion they attend, every library program, they're everywhere.
Did Eileen Davy do a story on them too?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
So,
saw
yeah.
that as well.
So,
Nice.
and that was them at the gallery, so. Shout out. And then the middle picture is from Harper College, the top left is from Harvey Fest. And so as you can see, we're out in the community with this shift.
Okay, programs and discussions. Programming and book discussions are central to One Book, One Village. And they offer a high quality experience across multiple formats and this year across many locations, as well as we were dealing with construction. Together, the discussions and the programs encourage deeper engagement with the Stolen Queen and reinforce our role as a hub for learning, culture, and community connections. A couple programming things here. We had a mix of in-person, virtual, maker-place programs and off-site programs. Our off-site partners at Coachel and also Eddie's were huge and are much appreciated here as well. For our programs, we had a number of them. They were all very diverse. We had high caliber speakers from the University of Chicago, the Art Institute of Chicago, Harvard, architectural critic Lee Bay, as well as a variety of other programs. And Makerplace also programmed as well, some crafting things and partnered with the advisors as well on a couple of book discussions. The gala, and thank you all who attended, it was a wonderful night. Was definitely a highlight of this year's season of programming. It brought 250 attendees and local artists. Soha Sweets provided the dessert. Nene Neal did the live pottery throwing. Naam Smith from El Rey Music Center played the whole night and kept it going and rocking. And our own Makerplace, Lisa Hale, had a costume display in the hub. So throughout this whole initiative, we saw strong attendance, repeat participation amongst many of our attendees, and enthusiastic feedback across all programs. This, of course, culminated with an evening with Fiona Davis. So we returned to the Forest View Theater for our signature One Book event. Huge thanks to the friends who helped bring our authors out here for this. That was huge, and you know, Fiona is kind of a big name, so that was very helpful. Our event brought 350 in-person attendees, 600, I wish, 62 live viewers, but 392 YouTube viewers of the use just as of today. So it's been widely seen and widely shared. In terms of what the breakdown is, 93% of the attendees are Arlington Heights residents. 31% though were first-time attendees this year, which is pretty big. And then 41% of our attendees or responded to this survey attend every year. And again, I would absolutely love to shout you guys out for attending the program, attending the gala. That was huge. Let me talk a little bit about book discussions. A lot, Sherry, because you guys are huge. Book discussions are a core component of One Book and foster meaningful dialogue and deeper engagement. In 2026, we saw about 80% of our typical book discussion groups come, and we connected with about 20% newer book discussion groups who came in and requested the book. The discussions were offered in the library, in the community, and virtually. By partnering with Makerplace, our advisors were able to really enhance the experience, whether it was the culinary demonstration, book discussion, for the Eating Broad Collar book discussion over the marketplace. That was huge. I guess the last thing I will end up with, because I could print out all of the survey responses and you can see all of the glowing reviews, but year after year, the community feedback is that this is an incredibly valuable experience for them. And they look forward to it much. Thank you all for your support. Thank everyone on the team. Thank everyone. For One Book, One Village. This was.
Yeah, and I just wanna point out one more thing, when we talk about One Book, One Village, and sitting here, and I say this because we're already back into, we're now into 2026 talking about it. And we always talk about how do we get more new people? How do we attract, a new audience and bring new into the initiative without losing our core audience? And these numbers always make me happy to see, because you want to see 80% coming back and 20% new, or you want to see the 31% first time participants, because that's bringing in the people of the community that's never participated, but yet keeping our 93% residents and our 80% core. So these numbers to me show a successful program. And then lastly, any questions?
I just wonder, how every year can you get new people and more people? I'm thinking, as I look at that Harper, that was a really great new thing to do this year. I didn't realize we did that. That's fabulous. Men, I mean, I went, it felt like a very female audience this year, which it always is. I mean, it's not always, but that's the one thing, is if we could maybe get a book that appeals to men too, I think we'd get more. However, I had a great conversation, right, with the man in front of me, and I also want to commend you on, it feels like there's two pretty hot social media influencers in town, the book ladies, and they were super supportive, and that, I don't know what their handle is, that young couple that Action Heights, yeah. They're both, and they were both super supportive, and they were all there, so that's terrific. Yeah, it really, she was fabulous. I'm sure, I feel like the speakers, the writers, the authors must love to come here, because they're in a room where people read their book, as opposed to, oh, I might buy your book, or, I want to go out with my girlfriends, so I'm doing this. Like, it feels, every time that I've been, which is about every time, they really seem to love the fact that people in the community really know the book.
I think Fiona was, definitely taken in with Arlington Heights.
Yeah.
And clearly connected with our readers and our foundation, contributing $1,000.
Yeah, that was great.
And then, kind of doing a call to action for everyone else. Yeah, it was just really great one this year. And maybe if we, could expand Eddie's, we'd get more men out to.
Yeah, right.
Peppers and Brews, that's the popular one.
I know. Well, and there's two new, restaurants. I just was downtown today. Supposedly 2 new restaurants opening next summer, right on Campbell. So, I mean, I don't know what that means, other than there's always.
We're always looking for.
There's always new stuff coming in town.
New spots where we can host.
Yeah.
Yes.
And kids, I know some years we've done a kids connection. I think that's really great. If it works, I get it. It doesn't always work.
I know that the Kids World this year did do, it was not like a sole connection, but they did
Yeah.
do a bunch of Egypt's
Yeah,
stuff, and I had a Egypt display of books, and
right.
so they find, in small ways.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciated the variety of programming. I thought it was so neat how across the library and the different spaces that you have, there were ways to connect with food with the maker place, and then ways to create at the maker place, and also book discussions. And I love that it is, One Book, One Village is a book club like thing, but it's not restricted to books. So I thought, I did attend a couple of the virtual ones, and the quality of the presenters was absolutely fabulous. So you guys knocked it out of the park this year. Can't wait to see what you do next year. No pressure, right? But you guys did a great job, and I really thought it was great.
Thank you.
Was there anything that really surprised you or really stuck out to you? That you did?
I was a little more surprised because to me, Fiona Davis is a huge author and I did a bunch of book discussions and I was surprised so many people didn't know her or has never read her, so. It's sometimes because we live and read books and we live, that's our, job, we think that this is what, people know. And so it was a nice surprise to bring a new author to people that a lot of people didn't.
Yeah,
To me, that was,
yes.
In terms of programming, some of these presenters, like from Harvard or even from University of Chicago, we did online. And so I think our team was really, sort of surprised, pleasantly so, that virtual programming is still drawing. We kind of thought of it as moving towards the past, but this actually allowed, many people to attend who wouldn't have been able to. So that's certainly something that we're going to keep doing moving forward into 2026 to keep things accessible for folks and now offer nice balance of in-person and virtual programming.
Yeah, to that point, I know this was more in like the late summer or fall, but I think in the winter, kind of for me, so if I need to leave the house after dark, I don't want to, so.
No, for sure.
If there's a virtual program, that's great.
If you record it too, and you can kind of listen to it like as a podcast while you cook dinner, like that's always nice too, so yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and I know the whole library. Everyone that had a part, because I know really everyone does have a part. All right, so moving on to next year's big thing, we're gonna talk. Next, we're gonna do approval of our revised board schedule. And you want to tell us why we need to do this?
Yes, there was a recent change to the Open Meetings Act that states that meetings on election days are prohibited. And for our 2026 Board of Library Trustees schedule of meetings, we do have one meeting that is on a election day. So what we wanted to do was bring this to you early so you can plan accordingly, and when we publish the calendar, it's correct. So it is the March 17th meeting, it's a board meeting. It is on a election day, we would suggest either moving it to the 16th or the 18th.
So Monday or Wednesday, that's that day, St. Patrick's Day, it's primary day in Illinois. So do people have preferences or conflicts on either Mondays or Wednesdays?
Mondays.
Yeah,
Work, but.
yeah.
Wednesdays would be preferred.
What do you-
No, it's a, why, yeah, no.
I can't do Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, two people have a harder time with Wednesday. I think, we have to choose, I think we have to choose one of those. Trustee Burrell,
It's fine.
I think Monday, because sometimes the cow meetings are on Mondays, I think Monday might work better if, so, I would recommend Monday, but, unless anyone has a problem, otherwise, I will make a motion that the Board of Library Trustees approves the revised 2026 Board of Trustee scheduled meetings, with the March meeting being rescheduled to Monday, March 16th. So may I have a second?
Okay.
Okay, so I made the motion. It was seconded by Trustee Watts. Could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell,
Yes.
trustee Gala. Yes. Trustee Kelly. Right. Trustee McLean.
Yes.
Trustee Meadow.
Yes.
Trustee Watts. Yes. President Smart.
Aye. All right, thank you.
So there's no committee of the whole in January then?
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, now I was getting ahead of myself. It looks like we're gonna hear some information
Yeah.
about our centennial
So
celebration.
next up, I'd like to invite Director of Communications Marketing, Sasha Vasilic, to present an overview of the one of our initiatives for or talking about our initiative for next year for 100th anniversary.
All right, evening everyone, Mike said Sasha Vasily, Director of Communications and Marketing. You'll be hearing from me twice. There's really great things that are happening next year. So the first, as President Samari said, I'll be giving you all what we're calling a tentative plan for what library staff are representing currently in regards to promoting the library's 100th anniversary next year. It is still a work in progress, so but we hope that we're giving you enough information and enough of the team to kind of get you guys excited for next year. So what we're calling the promotional period of the active promotion of the centennial is going to be from mid-April to mid-September. So the events, the programs, the promotions that I'll be talking about this evening will be happening during that time period. A tentative slogan that we are working with whenever we talk about the centennial celebration is the first 100 years. There's more to the story. So you could be seeing this tagline in the newsletter in the future and other marketing materials and signage. We also did get some feedback from staff as they're thinking about programming. They're like, is there any sort of theme that we can latch onto? So this is what we're going to be rolling with it. Now, in regards to programs, activities, and so forth, we are promoting the centennial even in the present moment right now. In the December newsletter, we have a call out to the community if they want to share any impact stories with us or photos, blasts from the past, of photos, videos, stories that they want to share with us from their experience at the library over the years. We also have a call out to library staff if they want to share sort of stories, photos. We have a call out to staff that you have an old library card. Did you take a piece of an old card catalog from the past that we could potentially use to display starting in April? So that's happening right now. It's going to be about next month is when we're going to kind of close that so we can start working on some of those pieces. So next week, we are also bringing back the second Love Your Library bookmark contest. We had one, as you all remember, earlier this year. Though this time there will be 18, and we're asking young artists if they could promote the library's 100th birthday is how we're going to talk about it to the younger audience. So we're really looking forward to seeing our young artists kind of incorporate the library centennial in their way. And we will be doing a display of all the submissions that we did last year, and also at one of the March board meetings, we will bring in the winners and give them certificates. So we're excited about bringing that contest. We do have a subgroup, an internal staff subgroup that's working on developing a centennial library exhibit that will be on display for the duration from April to September on List 4. So as you can expect with a centennial exhibit, it'll be some history, some fun facts. We're looking forward to working on some interactive components just to kind of engage the community and the library visitors that are in the building. We are also planning for special events during that time. And the official kickoff of the centennial is with the event that's going to be at the main library here, which we do have scheduled for Sunday, April 19th. So we also are planning, once we get the new bookmobile, that there would be a outdoor bookmobile centennial event at some point in the summertime, something at the senior center in August, and to close this celebration at the Maker Place in September. Library staff are also working on centennial themed programming that will happen over those X amount of months. And also next year's summer reading and 4th of July parade will be themed around this incentive as well. We are also working on fun promotions to keep the community engaged over those months, book displays and more, all things centennial. And also this promotional period works out really well because we do a lot of outreach when it's nice outside. So we will have a few centennial themed outreach experiences and opportunities that we will be doing over that time period. I do also want to mention a fun fact that Sunday, April 19th is not only our kickoff, but it is also the start of National Library Week and National Volunteer Week. So we will be doing a lot of celebrating and acknowledging all the great work and all the great people that make this library what it is. Questions? I promised over, so it's a little bit of escape.
I'm thinking as you're talking, just, I don't live far from here. And I'm thinking, have you reached out, or maybe you could reach out to some former staff members or board members or longtime volunteers? I feel like one of my neighbors used to have the float, help make the float in their yard. And I know a couple of, three current village trustees were presidents of this board. So there's some people in Arlington Heights that have like lived here forever. So I encourage you, it just feels like they might have some stories, some old time stories.
Yeah,
Or families, like Eileen Dady's family, families that grew up here and have kind of lived in town forever. That might be kind of fun.
yeah, and the exhibit subgroup has talked about that.
Yeah.
We do have some feelers out there.
Yeah.
Particularly with the Frisbee family, which were
Right.
very involved in this library. And we have talked about some of those individuals as well that you mentioned about
Yeah.
reaching out to them.
Yeah, well, and I feel like there's some of our volunteers that have volunteered here forever too, so. Even Neil Parker, who just presented, I know he grew up here and like started working here as a kid, really. So, yeah, I love the theme, that's fun. I think it'll be great. There's a lot to do with it.
And we're hoping, because I mean, it is the holiday time, it is a busy time,
Oh,
if we
yeah.
don't get all the stories or all the
Yeah.
photos, that there will be an opportunity during the celebration that people
Right.
could, take a few moments to share their story.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like a lot of work though.
Wait till you hear about the next thing, right?
All right, moving on to the next thing, our new library branding. They're bringing in the big guns for this.
If So we really want to end this year on a high with something that we've been talking about for many months. So we hope that you all have been excited about seeing what the final product is, and we hope that you're excited about what the final product is as much as we are. This evening, I'm joined with Brian Benson. He is our graphics supervisor and the mastermind of many beautiful, beautiful marketing pieces over the years. The newsletter every month. Many things. Our current brand was developed by Brian, and it's really exciting. It's really exciting to see what he created for us for the future. So, my part of this presentation is I'm going to share an overview of our process of how we got here, and Brian is going to do a big review. Okay, so we started. So the communications and marketing team started the branding process earlier this year. And we are, I'm talking in the present tense because it's not over yet. The process is still in motion, but we are working through a 3-step process. So the discovery phase, the design phase, and the launch phase. So during the discovery phase, the communications and marketing team met on many occasions to discuss who was the library back in the day, who is the library in the present time, and what do we think the library could be in the future? And can we use some of those aspects in the brand? We did also perform a brand audit where we looked through our current marketing materials just to see what are we thinking about keeping, what do we think we can sunset, and what are some marketing materials that we haven't developed yet that we think would be a good idea for the future. We also administered a staff survey to give staff an opportunity to share their thoughts on the current brand and what they think we should incorporate in the future brand. And we have had some meetings, mostly with upper management on the logo, but the next 2 days it will be shown into the staff. So I hope the staff is really excited about it as well, because we really did take their feedback to heart. Following the discovery phase, Brian listened to everything that we had to say. And then we entered the design phase where he went to work on doing different sketches for us. So he brought back 3 different directions to the communications and marketing team, where we all unanimously gravitated towards the first draft of this final draft that we will see this evening. And we were all very, very, very excited. So he went back and did some refining, and we are really hard here with the pretty much final product. Just to kind of conclude on my part, so we are currently in the kind of tail end of the design phase and making those final tweaks. Wanted to show you before we actually officially send it off in a couple of months to start printing things and all that sort of good stuff. To get any feedback, and the brand will launch in April with the new website a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks before the launch of the centennial. So take it away.
So, I don't know if everybody's familiar with, these are our last 3 logos. We have the brown, we call it the book logo that was here in the 90s, but I think it may have been, not certain if it was early 80s or maybe even all the way back to the 70s. Somewhere along the line we changed the color, but I wanted to show the brown one for old time's sake. And then in the 90s, we phased in the middle one, and then in mid aughts, this became our new logo. And so we're calling it a brand, but a brand is really more than just the graphic identity, which is what I'm going to show you, but the brand is everything about the organization, the services you provide, the whole of the organization. So it's meant to reflect the organization and impart something about it. So without further ado, this is what we came up with for it.
Oh, fun.
And the goal of it was to impart fun, energy, brightness, some excitement, but still have a, I don't want to say adult, but professional look. So there were a lot of variations we went through. I hope in this you see maybe a path that we've been calling these colorful rectangles, a path that leads you to the library, a path that maybe leads you to what the library can offer you. But also it should suggest books and perhaps an evolution of the library, perhaps the library changing. But also mostly just that the library is a fun, exciting place. And I hope that that's what this is conveying to you. So here it is in a, there we go. We'll use it this way. And this way. And we expect to be able to play off of the path and or in marketing or just as a graphic element that's a really strong element of the brand. But hopefully. We'll have, monochrome versions of the logo that may not always incorporate that graphic element. I'll show you some applications that we worked out that, where you can see maybe where that might be useful. Having had to apply the old brand to so many things, you kind of learn what's gonna be needed. What's gonna work. I really like this one, the curve kind of counterpoint to the strong horizontal kind of grid. There it is on white flag. These are the fonts we'll be using. I'll kind of speed through some of this, you probably don't care.
Yeah, so what colors, like, how, like, what colors, it's so colorful, are there are there colors that you're gonna use more, or just, or is it
Well,
cool not to use? You know, I feel like we had three colors, kind of red, black, and gray.
great, yeah. Well, we're considering, the primary colors to be just white. On this screen, it looks pretty black, but that's the, it's sort of a navy purple tone. Blue. And I'll show you some applications of it. There, the true color shows a little more. You know, it has to work on a projected screen. It's a little washed out on here, but it's pretty true to the color. But then we expect to be able to use colors from the path also as secondary colors. And we're still sort of developing that part of it, but we're working hard on the website, and we have a tone of one of those blue strong part and one of the orangey reds. So don't think we want to pin down just which
Yeah.
one, but they're definitely secondary colors now, right?
And is the Arlington Heights Memorial, are those three words the same font as the font we currently have? No?
No,
'Cause they look more traditional, and then library is like fun highlighted.
yeah, the
whimsical.
contrast is
Yeah.
what we're sort of hoping
Yeah.
to. There's series and font, and it's the same level. The font for the Arlington Heights Memorial is called a feeder, and it has a lot of weights. It's got some nice characteristics, and you know, we tried many, or at least I tried many, but the team saw one too, and you know, for a little while we thought we were gonna go with a serif font, but we realized with a lot of applications that the sans serif works better. But this font has some of the letter forms have a little bit of flair to them. That's kind of fun to see the animal there, or yeah, there's a little bit of a hook to some of the office font. So
Did you say Ophelia or Ophelia?
it's Ophelia, but not spelled like the Shakespeare character.
Or I was gonna say, like, maybe Taylor Swift took it from you because you were thinking about it.
Font designers are like rappers, they like to deliberately misspell. Ophelia, So here are some applications.
Yeah,
These are very helpful when you're developing and to just figure out what's gonna work and how it's gonna look, so. I'll just show you some. Here's a case where maybe, you know, the path of that curved word is still very strong. Or in contrast to more of a grid, I think it really stands out on its own. So other things is a little more purple, but and you know, we buy a lot of ready-made giveaways, which are very limited in color, so I think when we have a chance, we're going to choose.
Mhm.
We're not calling it, but These are all draft ideas for the specific applications, but maybe that's a library card, probably something like that. Or a business card. I like the letterhead, I think that's gonna be the letterhead. How I may apply the document. Um, This thing's probably a little over branded. But just trying out how different things work. If you see some there, probably, you probably wouldn't have to work. Twice, but yeah, it's fine. Litchfield already has its own branding, but sometimes you may want to do something like that. With that. Here's a good example of our one book, which you
Mhm.
are very familiar with, there's a lot of stuff going on, so. Probably simpler logo. Something that's gonna fight us too much. Give a class survey for all the outreach we do.
Mhm.
This is a possible way of a monochrome thing, it still looks very strong out there, got an outdoor center. Or. Definitely a draft, but
I like
really
that.
there's some.
It's really distinctive.
Really works on that, and I think like you're going through town. It's fun.
Something about it reminds me of the Really Hungry Caterpillars. Just that. Yeah. But no, I love it on the bookmobile. That looks really cool.
We'll play around with it a little bit, we'll probably have to put some other stuff on.
It's fun to see it as all of the different applications, not just to see it as the logo, so I appreciate you showing us how it can look in different ways.
And how we might use some of these elements in video. I'm not as good at it as our specialist is, but some of it probably needs to be faster. That's all I have for it.
I like it. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I know that must have taken just a lot of research and a lot of creativity, and that's what the library is all about, creativity and research and.
Indeed, but it's fun.
Does anyone else have any questions?
No, I was really curious to see what color scheme you're gonna come up with, or if you're gonna keep like the other one, like Amy said. All of these colors didn't even occur to me as an option, so I really like that. We learned something different. It's like-
Yeah,
We have a great opportunity now since we're kind of starting from scratch to like bring something new. So I'm also very, very happy with all the choices.
You can probably expect your branding for 100 years to have some element of that element in it.
Yeah.
Quite.
I'm just curious because I don't know in my head, but our other libraries that are more local to us, does anyone have anything similar? They're all boring
Not
and
the
not
ones I've
exciting.
been I don't like to look too much at other libraries and I think.
But I just don't wanna be like them. I wanna be
Oh,
us.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that when we did it, and I think it's a really good choice for any library, that. Back when we did the last logo, you weren't seeing was. That I think every library has like inherent branding that everybody's familiar with. It's everybody in a given town calls the library. They don't say Arlington Heights Memorial Library, and so emphasizing that word library is a good way to meet that with the way they use it. And so that's one thing that retained it. And I think you're seeing that in a lot of. I think I can think of a few other more suburban libraries that have started also. But probably also, so.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right, Tasha, you get the of the year off, right? Just kidding. All right, moving on to other.
The only other I wanted to mention was that, we were named the Community Service Organization of the Year, and I will be, collecting that award, I guess, at the recognition dinner, coming up in January, end of January, if anybody's interested in attending also. Just let Janet know and we'll get you guys registered.
Just getting awards all over the place.
Okay.
That's wonderful. I mentioned this earlier, but trustee Burrell and trustee Kelly were able to attend with me the library legislative meetup. Unfortunately, Mike was sick. But if, you know, it's a breakfast. There were legislators from our area. Nicole Grassi was there. Someone from Mary Beth Canty's office was there, and someone from our state senator's office was there, I think. But anyway, so, you know, it was a good chance to sort of meet and greet people, but what they really talked about, which was surprising to me, I'm sure it's not surprising to Carol or Mike, but just the fact that these ebooks are so much more expensive than regular books. I'm gonna have, Janet's gonna make copies of this or scan it and send it to everybody, but like, just for an example, a Stephen King novel, a book would cost $32. The ebook is $67.99. And you can only check, I thought like ebooks you could check out forever. You could check it out 25 times and then you have to like buy it again. So I just found it so interesting. That's a big issue that they're gonna be working on. Just the fact that one, these companies charge libraries more than consumers, like if you just bought it on Amazon or another site. And two, that they charge so much more for e-content, which is sort of counterintuitive if you think about cutting down the trees and, you know, paper and printing. But it's just not that way. So anyway, I will make sure that you all get a copy of this. And with that, I would like a motion to go into closed session in accordance with 5 ILCS 120-2C1 to discuss the executive director's performance goals and compensation, and also to review some closed session minutes.
So moved. Not saying that again.
Yeah. And they have a second. All right, we are back at our regular board meeting in December 2025. I would like to make a motion. We recommend destroying the audio recording and releasing the written minutes from closed session meetings that occurred on January 16th, 2024 and March 19th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that was a unanimous decision. I need to, at our last closed session, which was November 18th, 2025. I did not approve the closed session minutes, so we need to approve the closed session minutes from November 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second, okay, it was trustee Kelly and trustee Watts. Seconded, all in favor? Aye. And our closed session minutes from this evening,
I pass them around, right?
yeah. I would make a motion to approve the closed session minutes from this evening. All right, seconded by Barbara Watts.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, so we are officially on closed session. I will say that in our closed session, we discussed the compensation for our executive director, Mike Driscoll. The board was extremely pleased with his work this year, with the success of his leadership of the Arlington Heights Memorial Library. In this tough economic climate, he was able to lead staff in a way that expanded creativity while keeping expenses below budget. A lot of smart decisions were made regarding ways to maximize funding and even some grant funding like our new lighting. We were able to, with some contingency money, do some additions to our shelving in the kitchen in the Hendrickson room. Work environment for staff continues to really be strong. We streamlined the employee review process. He updated the workspaces and the bathrooms for our staff to be more comfortable. A lot of those were very old and needed work. Our renovations upstairs are on time and under budget, so that's terrific. Mike has really gotten involved in the AI, just an AI issue and becoming a leader in that field within the library community, both in the library board, for the Illinois Library Board, some committee work, as well as in legislative areas within the Illinois Library Association. We're also really proud of Mike's work in the community as a Heart of Gold Award winner in Arlington Heights. That's a really big honor. There's a lot of great people in this community, and we're really proud that Mike works with our fabulous library. And he's also the upcoming president of the Rotary Club in Arlington Heights. So with all of that, we are offering our highest evaluation for Mike. And with the library staff and the executive committee's decision, he will get the highest raise that staff are getting this year, which is 3.5%. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, well, it's been a busy night, and I wish everyone a very happy holidays. And I always encourage people, if they're watching online, all of our documents are online. Mike's executive director report is online with wonderful pictures and quotes from people in the community that attend our programming. So please take advantage of that.
Do you want to do a motion with this?
Oh,
The first
yes,
and second
I
reading.
will make a motion. I make a motion to give our executive director increased compensation of 3.5% for the 2026 year. Trustee Gala seconded the motion. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell?
Yes.
Trustee Bella?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly? Trustee McLeany?
Yes.
Trustee Meadow?
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Smart?
Aye. All right.
Thank
You are welcome. Any other from anyone else? No, all right. This meeting is adjourned.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Things that I only do once a year, right? That's for me. Thank you for keeping me honest.
Thank you.